Good evening. I call to order the regularly scheduled meeting for the York County School Board for Monday, November the 20th. Good evening, everybody. Pre-happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you all are ready to enjoy a lot of festive time with family and good eatings. As I introduce to you our pledge leader, Robbie Bussey, fifth grader, Waller Mill Elementary School, and he's dressed up in his scout uniform. It is with great pleasure and pride that we recognize Robbie Bussey as our pledge leader this month. Robbie is a wonderful and respectful student each and every day. He works hard, tries his best, and is a good school citizen. His teachers describe him as responsible, compassionate, and patriotic. When asked what he would like to be when he grows up, he shared that he would like to learn a trade and be a plumber. Outside of school, Robbie serves his community as an Era of Light Cub Scout in Pack 103. He will be bridging up to Boy Scouts this spring. He is also involved in his church, St. Bede. He participates in the children's faith formation classes. We are proud to have Robbie as a shining star at our school and know that he will continue to make us and his family proud in the future. Please join Robbie in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much, Robbie, and in the future, as our homes get older and you're in the profession, we know when to call you, right? Fantastic job. As we move into our agenda, I would like to, first of all, acknowledge a new person sitting up here with us tonight, Mr. Michael Anderson, the new school board representative to District 2. We welcome you. We've had a chance to talk, and he's ready to go. He's ready to take on all the fun and challenging things, as I always say it, the good, the bad, the ugly.
That's it.
And he's ready to take it on, so we welcome you to our family.
Thank you.
We move now to our seniors of the month. I have the honor of introducing to you the Bruton High School Senior of the Month. And if I can find it. Computer's slow tonight. Gabrielle Calloway. If Gabrielle will stand. Who's with you? Mom, Dad? Come on, stand. Everyone that's with you, please stand. You get to see yourself on TV. Gabrielle Calloway is an outstanding and dedicated student athlete who competes and serves as a leader of our volleyball, basketball, and track teams. She has served as the captain of the volleyball team for 3 years. In the fall of 2016, the Panther volleyball team won Conference 33. Gabby's leadership was paramount in Bruton's advancement to the regional semifinals. She was named the All-Conference Team, First Team Region 2A East, and Group 2A All-State First Team in the 9th, 10th, and the 11th grades. Last year, Gabby led Group 2A with 392 kills, 108 aces, 26 blocks, and 221 digs. After the conclusion of every fall season, Gabby quickly joins our basketball team to continue her tenacity. Gabby is fiery and passionate about her academic success as she is about athletics. With all of her athletic commitments and a rigorous schedule, Gabby maintains a 4.34 grade point average and has received the highest honors award every year since the 9th grade. She is also ranked number 1 in the Certified Nursing Assistance Program at New Horizons. Wow. Gabby is a volunteer volleyball coach for young campers and enjoys helping young student athletes. She is also a nursery worker at Crosswalk Community Chapel and volunteered at the Chesapeake Long-Term Care Facility. She participates in clubs and is a member of the National Honor Society, African American Interest, and Culture Clubs. Gabby received an offering to play volleyball at Hampton University. She is excited about becoming a pirate and plans to pursue a career in nursing. Outstanding, go pirate. Fantastic. Gabby, you can tell that's my alma mater. And nursing too. Okay. Grafton, Mr. Anderson.
Would Mr. Daniel Choi, his family and friends, please stand? All right. We are pleased to recognize Daniel Choi as Grafton High School's November Senior of the Month. Daniel is devoted to his academics and his community and is currently ranked third in his class with a GPA of 4.65. Daniel will have taken 13 AP courses by the end of his senior year at both Grafton High School and on Virtual High School. Daniel has been a member of Grafton High School's varsity golf team since 9th grade. He's participated in the Scholastics Bowl for 3 years and currently serves as the captain of the Scholastics Bowl team. Daniel has also been a part of Model UN, the French Honor Society, the German Honor Society, and Mu Alpha Theta for the past 3 years. He was inducted into the National Honor Society for his senior year, where he serves as vice president. Daniel has served as an executive board member for DECA the last 2 years, and he spends much of his time volunteering for both the school and the community. Daniel has participated in a volunteer trip to the Dominican Republic, and he has earned the Gold President's Volunteer Service Award. Daniel's talents extend into music, where he has played the piano and cello for all 4 years of high school. He performs with the Peninsula Korean Youth Orchestra, as well as the Peninsula Korean Baptist Church. Daniel is an incredible student who is able to balance his academics, interests, community service, as well as working a part-time job while earning highest honors. Grafton High School is proud to recognize Daniel as our November Senior of the Month. Congratulations.
Dr. George, you have Tab High.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Haywood. It's my pleasure this evening to introduce the Senior of the Month from Tab High School, Zachary Clark. And Zachary, I believe your mom and dad are here, your sister Allison, your brother Nathan, your grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Steve Griffin, and your uncle, Stephen Clark. Okay, all right. Great. Ranked in the top 9% of his graduating class, taking weighted AP and YCSD honors program requirements, Zachary Clark is the face of the Tab High School Band. There is no stronger role model, teacher, or leader as he leads the brass section. He's a district band selectee and plays the trumpet and tuba. As a 4-year leader of our marching and symphonic band program, November Student of the Month is multi-talented both artistically and academically. With a 4.4047 GPA, his love of music is possibly only trumped by his love of mathematics. In addition to marching band, at the college level, he will major in mathematics and possibly mathematics education. He balances this with a strong philanthropic character. He is a member of 4 National Honor Societies, including Mu Alpha Theta, National, Tri-M, and the Spanish National Honor Society, where he serves as president. He is a 2-year tour guide for student ambassadors and was selected because of his positive outlook. Zach's band and Honor Society volunteer hours add up to at least a part-time job, often logging over 15 hours a week. He also has been the audio-visual guru at his church each Sunday for the past 3 years, running the entire audio-visual service. Zach is a student who commits for the long term, and we are honored to present Zach as TAB's November Student of the Month. Keep an eye out for Zach in the future. He may return to York County Schools on the other side of the desk. Zach, thank you for everything you do. Congratulations.
And Mr. Medford, you have York High.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have Alexis Haskell to introduce, if she'll stand, and her parents. Her sisters Carly and Skylar, and her grandfather's here, I believe. Excellent. York High School is pleased to announce Alexis as the November Senior of the Month. Alexis currently ranks as one of the top 5 students in her class. Alexis' hard work and perseverance has earned her acceptance into Mu Alpha Theta, the Science National Honor Society, the Spanish Honor Society, and the National Honor Society. She has also participated in numerous science fairs over the past 3 years, where she has placed 1st through 3rd. Alexis is a well-rounded athlete and has been involved in several different sports over the years. She has lettered for 4 years in swimming, 2 years in softball, and 2 years in cross country. She has also played field hockey. Alexis has given back to her community in various ways. She has participated in the Stop Hunger Now initiative, the Appalachian Service Project. She is also a Vacation Bible School tribal leader, the UMC Camp Overlook participant, and Special Olympics volunteer. Alexis truly is a model student and a standout amongst her peers. Congratulations, Alexis. You make us proud to be part of the Falcon family. Thank you.
We move now to our Student Service Award recipients, and Dr. Shander, you're going to go down front. The first recipient is from Waller Mill Elementary School, Cassie Hall. And if Cassie will come forward with Principal Mrs. Jennifer Goodwin. Cassie is an exceptional student in every way. Academically, she works very hard in her classes and is a very conscientious student, always giving her best effort and consistently earning her place on the honor roll. Cassie is actively involved in our Fine Arts Magnet program and most recently performed a vocal and sign language piece for our annual Cavalcade of Stars show. She has been in our dinner theater each year. Cassie also demonstrates leadership skills as a student mentor in leading friendship groups with younger children under the direction of our school counselor, Mrs. Gaylord. Cassie also participates in our school running club and will be doing a 5K at the Centera Sleigh Bell Run next month. Outside of school, Cassie puts her sign language skills to good use by interpreting for her mom and her best friend. She can often be found spending time at the Williamsburg Recreation Center playing volleyball and was on a swim team this summer. Cassie's positive attitude, kind heart, and contagious smile makes her a wonderful role model and a true joy to be around. She is a student, daughter, and sister that makes those who know her best very proud. She is an exceptional student, and we are honored to have her as a Waller Mill Shining Star. Please join me in congratulating Cassie. Mr. Richardson, you have Yorktown Middle.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Finn Trainer, if you could come up with the assistant principal from Yorktown Middle School, Ms. Hairston. Finn Trainer is a dedicated and talented student who genuinely cares about his community and is passionate about giving back to those within it. He definitely pays it forward. Finn has captured the volunteer spirit at a young age. Last year, as a 6th grader, he was awarded Volunteer of the Year by the Yorktown Middle School Youth Volunteer Corps. This honor usually is granted to upperclassmen. Also, as a 6th grader, Finn was awarded Volunteer of the Month by the Youth Volunteer Corps of Hampton Roads. Finn loves volunteering. He has worked on many projects throughout Hampton Roads, including volunteering at the annual Youth Volunteer Corps camp and assisting with the implementation of the York Middle School canned food drive. Finn was a team leader and an active participant in the can structure team competition. Finn also donated and volunteered for the York Middle School coat drive for 2017. Of those projects, Finn's favorite and by far most unique project
is the Adopt a School program to support students in Ghana, Africa. This project includes providing opportunities for the students from both schools to correspond as they learn about their similarities and differences across various avenues of life. Finn also participated in a book collection drive for those students also. In addition to his volunteering, Finn has maintained excellent grades throughout his school career, earning honor roll each quarter. This year, he will serve in various roles at the school, including Vice President of the Youth Volunteer Corps. Teachers, counselors, and administration and peers always remark on Finn's positive attitude and helpful nature. Finn is a true Falcon. Join me in recognizing Finn for the outstanding job he's done.
And we now move to Community Volunteers of the Month. Dr. George, you have Waller Mill.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Haywood. It's my pleasure this evening to introduce the Waller Mill Elementary Community Volunteer of the Month, Jessica Elliott, with Jennifer Goodwin, please. Our school has been fortunate to have Mrs. Jessica Elliott as a dedicated parent volunteer for 3 years. Starting when her daughter was in first grade, she came in each week to help in the classroom. Last year, she became active on our PTA Executive Board as secretary, and this year made the leap to president. Mrs. Elliott is totally hands-on and is always looking for ways to connect with more families and to make our school the best place it can be to grow and learn. Mrs. Elliott is involved in all aspects of the organization, from creating a new webpage for our PTA, coordinating open house and back-to-school night events, to helping to ensure our teachers and students have resources they need, such as leveled readers and flexible seating. This year, she has worked to bring in more volunteers and created subcommittees for large events like Jogathon and upcoming movie night. Our prize week for the Jogathon was hugely successful, and we exceeded our goal this year. Mrs. Elliott is instrumental in making these large-scale events a success for the students, the teachers, and the families at Waller Mill. Outside of our PTA, she also has a very generous heart and helps to make sure our families have all they need, from clothes and shoes to food for long weekends. There is a popular quote that says, "Be the change that you wish to see in the world." Mrs. Elliott exemplifies this in her daily actions and giving spirit. We are truly grateful for all she does, and our school is better for having her involvement. Congratulations, and thank you for all you do.
And Mr. Madford, you have Yorktown Middle.
I'm excited to announce this one. Pam Abercrombie, if you can come up, and you're the person representing Susan Hutton tonight, your assistant principal at school, Mrs. Harrison. Representing York Middle School, Pam uses her ability to reach out, connect with others, and build on others' strengths to support Yorktown Middle School. She always makes people feel welcome and appreciated. Pam's leadership as our students' PTSA president the past 2 years has made a positive impact, especially her focus on increasing student involvement in the organization and gathering feedback. Mrs. Abercrombie is solution-oriented and always eager to help the school community. She has a kind heart and a giving spirit who only wants the best for students, parents, and staff at Yorktown Middle School. Pam enjoys finding creative ways to foster school spirit and pride. She organizes and supports other PTSA members with various activities based on students, parents, and staff's request. Under her leadership, the PTSA has helped not only with meeting school needs, but also ensuring high-interest students' events go forward, including dances, activities nights, and dodgeball. Beyond her commitment as PTSA president, Pam is a highly involved parent at the school, volunteering and helping in many capacities beyond the PTSA. She continually models respect, empathy, and service to others in all situations. Mrs. Abercrombie is passionate about all students being included in experiences and continues to strive to find ways to engage all stakeholders in the school community. She often makes her job look easy. Mrs. Abercrombie has a humble nature and recognizes others for their contributions in making our PTSA and school a success. However, everyone knows she is one of those folks that makes Falcon strong, make us Falcon strong. York Middle School is truly fortunate to have Pam as a volunteer. I see her work. It definitely does not go unnoticed. Pam, thank you very much. Congratulations.
We have a presentation by the York Foundation for Public Education. So to Robbie, who is our 5th grade pledge leader, also to our two Student Service Award recipients, Finn and Cassie, and our 4 seniors, Gabrielle, Daniel, Zachary, and Alexis. Special gifts from Cookie Tex and Edible Tweet are being presented tonight on behalf of the York Foundation in partnership with their donor, Jonah Fioka of Cookie Tex and Edible Tweet. A Walmart gift card is also being presented to each recipient on behalf of a foundation supporter. And presenting these gifts to you this evening is Mrs. Denise Ashby, a York Foundation for Public Education member. So please join me in congratulating everyone again. Thank you very much. We have 2 more presentations, so please just sit still, and once we finish the 2 presentations, we will have the opportunity to take a break and come down and meet you. It is with great honor that I ask the next gentleman to please come forward, Dr. Stephen R. Staples. Dr. Staples, if you would come up and join. For those of you all who don't know the then and the now. So we are so happy to have them both together. Dr. Staples has just retired, and we wanted to take this opportunity to recognize him. So I want to read some information to you on Dr. Staples. He's returned from as Superintendent of Public Instruction. Dr. Stephen R. Staples was appointed Virginia's 24th Superintendent of Public Instruction by Governor Terry McCullough in 2014. As superintendent, Dr. Staples serves as the executive officer of the Virginia Department of Education, which is the administrative agency for the Commonwealth's public schools. He began his career in public education in 1976 in Prince George County, where he taught elementary, middle, and high school students, and also served as an assistant principal for instruction. In 1985, Dr. Staples became principal of Hopewell High School, and 3 years later moved to Montgomery County as assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction. He served beginning in 1991 as division superintendent in York County for 16 years, my first superintendent. During his tenure in York County, Dr. Staples implemented a variety of innovative programs, including magnet programs in fine arts, math, science, and technology, and a charter school program linking academic standards to licensure competencies in career and technical fields. In 1997, he was selected as the Virginia Superintendent of the Year. Prior to his appointment as the Commonwealth's Chief School Officer, Dr. Staples served for nearly 2 years as the Executive Director of the Virginia Association of School Superintendents and was a faculty member at the College of William and Mary from 2008 to 2012. Dr. Staples received his doctorate in education, administration, and supervision from Virginia Tech, a master's degree, as well as a bachelor's degree in history and English from the College of William and Mary. He has been married to his wife Barbara for 37 years, has 2 married daughters and 1 granddaughter. Let me share. Barbara, stand up. This is his other half.
Come on up here, Barbara.
Come on up. You have to understand that when Steve was on the board, and we go back a long ways, I'm a Barbara, his wife was Barbara, and another board member his wife was a Barbara. So we were all confused and said, whose Barbara is it? So when Steve retired, I said to to his barber, from one barber to the other. He's all yours now. So, but it's with honor that we have you here tonight. I know the granddaughter that is here and the one coming, you just can't wait. So we just wish you all of God's blessing and God's speed as you enter the next fun stage of your life. And I think Mark was the only one here before, and I didn't know if Robbie too, if you two want to have anything to say before I turn to Dr. Shandor.
I get the memo of how to retire. That's important. You've done so much for our county, okay? But everywhere you've traveled, Dr. Staples, you've made an impact. And to be able to be in a position, appointed to a position at the state level to where you impacted students across the entire Commonwealth for years, it's phenomenal. What you've done will last for decades to come, and the impacts you've made. So I'm sure your phone will ring. I'm sure others will ask questions as you have initiatives that you've started, and you probably will want to see them follow through. But on behalf of just us and everyone else out there that knows you, you're top notch. You're something that people look up to and try to duplicate, and thank you.
Robbie, did you want?
I won't tell the same old story again.
Good story.
Okay, I'll tell it. Dr. Staples, first of all, I want to thank you for sitting down that day with me, spending the time that it took to fully explain what it meant to be a board member. Piqued my interest, and really, basically, I left that meeting knowing this is something I want to do. So I appreciate that very much. And in that meeting, we talked about, things like time commitment and, family and those sorts of things. And Dr. Staples, liar, liar, pants on fire, let me know that it would be one meeting a month probably at the most. And I thought, well, this is great, I can do this. So not 1 month has gone by in the last 10 years where that's been true, but I have enjoyed every minute of it. But thank you so much for spending that time with me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. George. So just a couple quick things from me. Dr. Staples, 3.5 years ago when I got appointed here from Georgia, my phone rang. It was a Virginia number, and he reached out to me and welcomed me to the state. I didn't know what a legend he was at that time until I got here. And I can tell you when I got here, he just didn't reach out and say, it's nice to meet you, I'll be working with you. He and Barbara invited me to their home for dinner, and he gave me all the background information on all of my board members, so I would be prepared.
Thanks a lot, yeah.
For this job. So I owe you for that. But quite
We're in
honestly,
trouble.
I don't know what else there is to say about this man. His fingerprints are all over this division. We had a reception for him earlier, and there's several people in the crowd. He's impacted people for many, many, many years to impact students in our school division. So thank you so much for all you've given public education. 41 years is amazing. I'm not sure I'm going to make it 41 years. I'm hoping to make it through the end of the week. So we certainly appreciate all you've done, Steve. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you want anything to say, feel free.
So we had two more folks that I wanted to speak. Dr. Stephanie Guy and Dr. Carl James spent a number of years with Dr. Staples, so they're going to close it out for us.
Dr. Staples, many years ago at one of the employee recognition banquets, I commented on how you seem to know everyone in the division, not just by name, but details about their families and personal interests. As each retiree crossed the stage, you drew them in and shared a personal moment, and I thought to myself, how does he know each and every person that well? When I asked you about it, you simply made light of it, saying, when you've been here as long as I have, you'll know everyone too. Well, I've been here for over 20 years, and I can say without equivocation that I'm not there, not even close. What you have is a gift. You remember people's names and details about their lives. You listen and care deeply about others, and for that, we have all been blessed. One interaction that I had with you that meant the most to me, and I know many others had similar experiences, was that you always seemed to know when you needed to step in and what needed to be said. It was like you had a sixth sense that someone was in crisis. I remember very clearly as a young principal when I was frustrated with how a personnel issue was being handled. You came to Grafton to meet with me, you listened to my concerns, asked me questions, and when you left, I knew I was in the right place, that YCSD was a place that cared about students and staff. I've had conversations with others who've shared similar stories of how you reached out to them at a pivotal moment in their career, and that phone call or personal meeting is the only reason that they're still here, and that they chose to stay in K-12 education. Lastly, I want to express my appreciation for your approach to problem solving. When an issue or problem came up in one or multiple buildings, you didn't spend time assigning blame. Rather, you brought people together to solve the issue at hand and make sure we took the necessary steps to ensure that it didn't happen again. I can't begin to express how meaningful these moments were to each of us when we felt like we had dropped the ball, and you helped us realize that we could not do our job and everyone else's at the same time. What we could do was learn from it and take action to make sure it didn't happen again. Thank you for taking a chance on me 21 years ago, and for your input into my career at each step along the way. I love this school division, and so much of what I feel is directly related to the values you instilled in me and so many others during your tenure in York County. Thank you.
Good evening. This is quite an honor. Thank you, Dr. Staples, for believing in me, for giving me the confidence. There were many things that I could do in this school division, and I'm ever grateful for you for doing that. And to everyone in the audience, as I think about Dr. Staples and what he has meant to public education, I'm reminded of a quote by a former Secretary of State, General Colin Powell. See, Colin Powell believed that great leaders are great simplifiers. One who could work through an argument, debate, or doubt, and offer a solution that everyone could understand. And we know that to be true about Dr. Staples. You know, this quote talks about a talent that we all know that he possesses, the ability to communicate to all people. And throughout his work in public education, he has used that talent to help all of us throughout the state to do what was best for a school district, a community, but more importantly, what was best for children. That is always, and it still is, his focus. Whether in times of controversy, crisis, or celebration, it was a given that Dr. Staples could simplify the issue and provide guidance and direction to all of us. And he did so simply by the method, the means by which he communicates, whether in writing, by telephone, in person, or sometimes in an editorial in the Yorktown Crier. One I will forever remember is the one entitled, "Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover." You know, that's sage advice for all of us. So with that, Dr. Staples, congratulations on a well-deserved retirement. You will be missed, but like many others have said, your legacy will live on throughout the York County School Division, throughout this community, and throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia. Congratulations, sir.
Very briefly, because I know you have a long agenda, I do remember how they go. Thank you to everyone, not only for this particular recognition, for the opportunity to reconnect with so many valued and trusted and loved colleagues from my career, but most importantly, thank you for giving Barbara and I a chance to come home. It's said that no matter where you go, no matter what you do, there's always a chance to come home. And driving in tonight, we commented on how this sort of felt like coming home. York County gave us an opportunity. You welcomed us. You nurtured us. You supported us, and our lives are enriched and better for that. So I appreciate you thanking me, but let me say quite clearly, it is I who owe you a debt of gratitude. York County changed the trajectory not only of my career, but of our lives, and we will be forever indebted to you for that. This is certainly most meaningful. Thank you for this, but thank you for all of that. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
As Dr. Shandor comes back, we have one more presentation under recognitions and awards, and there's an accent on academics. Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Ms. Haywood. Board members, tonight's Accent on Academics project is Heart Week. Grafton High School's project was organized by the Grafton High SCA. The Grafton staff, students, and the York County community came together for one common goal, to help financially support one of our own. To share more about this project is Ms. Whitney Cataldo, principal for Grafton High School. Ms. Cataldo.
Good evening, Dr. Shandor and members of the board. We are so happy to be here this evening to share how Grafton High School took a tragedy and we embraced it and made it something that we came together as a community and family to support this family and this student in need. I'm going to have my SCA president, Kira Schwartz, and my first vice president, Florence Darko, speak of the events. This was co-sponsored with our SCA leaders, Jen Zwertz and Holly Conradi. Unfortunately, we had the stomach bug touch some places at Grafton High School, so they're unable to be here this evening. But I'm going to turn the program over to our students to speak a little bit more about the events and how we came together as a school to support the family and the community.
On November 28, 2016, a Grafton freshman came to school just like any other day. Upon entering his third block classroom and sitting down, he had a heart attack. Thankfully, his PE teacher had been reviewing CPR as a part of his health class, so when she realized he was in cardiac arrest, she immediately started CPR. Assistance was called and an AED was used to shock his heart back into rhythm, and he was taken to the hospital. After multiple hospital visits and procedures, the student received a new heart on December 24th because his old one was too damaged. As a result of his condition, he had to have one leg amputated below the knee, and he has undergone multiple procedures, but he is doing much better. His parents took a lot of time off work to be with him, and his family has had to travel back and forth. The student will need to take 7 medications for the rest of his life. He will need numerous therapy sessions, and he will need new equipment and adjustments to his home. The family was facing many medical bills and life changes, so administration approached the Student Council, also known as SEA, to brainstorm a way to help the family in their time of need.
Grafton's SCA decided to take action and organize a school-wide week of fundraising to support the student and his family. We chose the week of Valentine's Day and called it Heart Week. The entire school came together, uniting for a common cause, with various clubs and classes organizing events to fill the week. Key Club donated money they had raised selling donuts and organized a Get Well Soon card drive. National Honor Society organized a hat day. The sophomore class sold Valentines. The Special Olympics Club sold stickers. Teachers school-wide raised money through a jean day. And Art Club made and sold bracelets, as displayed in the photo. Throughout the week, Grafton's student body and staff united to support the cause. Signs of generosity were abundant everywhere you looked, as many clubs, classes, students, and teachers worked together to help.
The SCA wanted to come up with a bold idea that would get students excited to join in with the Heart Week activities. We decided to host an in-school Zumba event where students could pay $2 to join us in the gym to participate in 20 minutes of this heart-healthy activity. In order to advertise this never-before-done event, SEA asked the leadership class, along with their instructor, to put together a video advertisement to promote the day and get everyone excited about signing up to join us. Students wrote and produced the commercial, and it was a huge success as it was shown during 2AB classes. During the 2 Zumba sessions, the gym was filled with ecstatic students dancing and exercising for a good cause. Here's a clip from the Zumba commercial.
What are you wearing? The 80s called, and they want the outfit back.
Oh, Alan, you didn't hear? There's Zumba going on in the gym. It's for the Heart Week fundraiser. All the proceeds go to a fellow Grafton student.
What? I want to do it.
It's only $2. You should come. But you're going to be the odd man out. Nobody's dressed like that.
All right, 1 second. I'm just going to change.
Wow, okay, let's go get some more people.
Let's go. Doesn't this look like fun? You can join us.
You can sign up to participate during lunches Monday through Thursday.
And it's only $2. We'll be Zooming Friday, February 17th.
And you know what's even better? You get to miss half of 2AB. Buy your ticket soon. There's only 400 and they're gonna go fast.
Here's some footage from the day of the event.
While working on advertising the Zumba event, students in Grafton's leadership class decided to launch a GoFundMe page for the student and his family. The link was posted on various social media platforms and took off beyond Grafton High School, with many local families choosing to donate. Grafton's efforts to raise money for the student's family were even recognized by multiple news platforms, which helped spread information concerning donations to the community. Grafton's SCA also organized 2 restaurant-based fundraisers, with both Plaza Azteca and Chipotle donating a portion of their profits for the night. Chipotle had even said that it was one of the most successful fundraiser nights they had ever had. These are some of our committed clippers with Andy Fox, a news anchor on Channel 10, who covered our story. And here's a clip from Channel 13 News, who also reported on Heart Week.
There's a huge effort underway in York County to help Grafton High School freshman Andrew Stonier.
He's been out of class since November when he collapsed at school from a heart attack. Well, his family needs help paying for Stonier's medical care, so his classmates stepped in.
Nico Clemens talked with the students who are behind the fundraising idea.
It might sound a little cliche, but we're family here at Grafton, and we want to help our own.
On this February 14th, there's plenty of love walking up and down the hallways of Grafton High. That love and compassion is growing every day. It has been since November 28th. Just hours into the school day, freshman Andrew Stonier had a heart attack.
No one really knew what happened.
Over the next month or so, several setbacks for Andrew. Surgery, heart transplant, doctors forced to amputate his leg. As news spread throughout the hallways, a few students decided they wanted to do something for Andrew.
He needs our help, and then as a Grafton family, we're going to help him out.
Senior class president Julia Larson started a GoFundMe. The response?
Absolutely incredible. Like, all these random people that we've never met before, just like giving us like whatever money they could donate.
Oh, and that's not all. The students came up with a fundraising event every day this week. From a Chipotle fundraiser.
Oh, Alan, you didn't hear? There's Zumba going on in the gym. It's for the Heart Week fundraiser. All the proceeds go to a fellow Grafton student.
What? I want to do it.
To
it's
a
only $2.
Zumba fundraiser.
I hope that it's going to bring people to our event to raise as much money for Andrew and his family as we can.
They're not doing any of this to be seen. They really don't want to be recognized. They want the best for Andrew because he's one of them. And it's that kind of love you will find right here at Grafton High. In Yorktown, Nico Clemens, 13 News Now.
Beyond the walls of Grafton High, other York County schools joined in to help support the family. Tabb Middle School hosted a Jeans Day and even donned our Grafton colors. Magruder Elementary heard about the family story and hosted their own Jeans Day as well. The entire week was a wonderful illustration of how the York County community went above and beyond for one of our own York County students.
In total, 1,724 $17,124 was raised for the student's family by the combined effort of our student body, teachers, and community. We were incredibly proud of the spirit and dedication that our community brought to the cause, and excited to see the way that all the puzzle pieces fit together. Looking into the future, we're excited to see what else our student body, teachers, and community can accomplish when we come together. Thank you so much for your time and attention. It means so much to Grafton to have such a supportive community. And at this time, we'll answer any questions you may have about Heart Week or Grafton's SCA.
I don't have a question, but it's phenomenal, just an idea, a dream, and how it blossomed to what you all have accomplished. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful idea, wonderful.
We also received an update from Andrew's family earlier this week, and he's doing much better. He's very optimistic for the future, and he's actually leaving tomorrow for a Make-A-Wish trip to Disney World with his family.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic, outstanding. Well, you all have done a phenomenal job, and kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
And now the board is going to take a break and come down and greet each of you. We want to resume our meeting. Before I move to, well, first of all, any unfinished business?
No, ma'am.
And we now move to construction report, one presentation, construction report, Dr. Sanchandor. I'm going to say Dr. Staples before the night's over with, I promise you.
Thanks, Ms. Haywood.
Okay?
I appreciate that.
Okay. All right.
I can take that feedback. So we'll move on to the next presentation. I'm going to ask Mr. Mark Shearhart, Associate Director of Capital Plans and Projects. He'll come forward for this evening's construction report. Mr. Shearhart.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Shandor. Here's your capital projects report for the month of November. I rolled Yorktown and Bethel Manor Elementary Schools projects into one here for this evening. We're wrapping up both those projects that took place this last summer, down to just finishing up touch-up painting and completing some final HVAC work in there. Also, we're commissioning the HVAC systems, and I remember that last month I explained commissioning the HVAC systems is where they make sure that they're operating properly and efficiently. The contractors are also wrapping up the roof work at both schools. The roofs are on, they're watertight, and they're just doing some metal trim work and installing roof hatches and a few things like that. The contractors at both schools are waiting on some material for some additional work. There were some doors to be replaced, and they're still waiting on those doors and some windows as well. Just a few at both sites, but just some remaining work that needs to be wrapped up. I want to go back a little bit here to Grafton School Complex. This is a partial roof replacement and coating. During the final inspection of the roof, the inspector found a couple of areas that need some repair. These are not roof issues. He found an area where above the middle school band storage room, the wall there faces north, and when we have a northeaster, the wind-driven rain actually penetrates through the brick wall there and runs down inside the wall. And what's happening is the water comes from inside the wall between the layers of the roof there above the band storage room. So we explored that this last week. I took apart part of the roof there and some of the wall and found that condition. And so the contractor is willing to go ahead and do that repair for some additional funds, but we're trying to organize a date for that work to take place. The roof inspector also found some leaks at some very minor leaks at the school main entrances, and most of this was caulking around some windows there at the main entrances. So we intended to complete this work during school break, hopefully during Christmas break, but if the weather doesn't permit that, we may be having to do this work during the school day. I will coordinate with the principals to do that, to minimize the impact on the students. The next project is Tabb Elementary School. This is the HVAC and partial roof replacement at this school. The architect and engineers are making final changes to the construction documents. This is the drawings and also the specifications. This is based on my review of their drawings and their documents. So I made recommendations and they're making their changes now. We are also working with a separate contractor on the relocation of the main offices to classroom number 7. The contractor will erect a wall in that classroom, splitting it in half, and also opening up making an opening into the wall, a hallway wall for a door into that temporary main office. The plan is to move the office on March 2nd to that temporary location, and that will take place. It's a half day for students, and once the students leave that day, then we'll go ahead and move the offices on the March 2nd. We are expecting purchasing to create a draft solicitation this next week, which will go to Melanie for her approval, and then we can get that project out on the street for bids and hopefully get some good low bids since we're getting it out relatively early in the year. The first phase is going to involve, this is for the spring and summer of 2018, is going to involve HVAC replacement, security vestibule creation or construction, restroom renovations, new ceilings, painting, and also potential LED light installation throughout the building. The second phase will take place in this following summer, 2019, and that involves the roof and window replacement, some work in the cafeteria and gymnasium areas, and possible casework and door replacement. I say potential and possible work there, potential LED light installation and possible casework and door replacement. These are due to whether the bids come in low enough and we have funding available due to these portions of the project. The last project I'd like to touch on is the new elementary school. The architectural firm has the contract documents in their hands now for signature, and this first phase is a schematic design phase only. Since we don't have a set construction timeline for the school yet, because the residential developments have not really accelerated there, we're only allowing the architects to do the schematic design first. They have the entire contract for the design of the building, but we're only authorizing them to do the design phase first, or the schematic design phase first. And that's my last topic for this evening. Do you have any questions for me?
Do you have a projected time when we will see the schematic design?
October 1st, 2018 is when we are supposed to have that.
Okay.
I'm sorry I didn't have any pictures for you this evening. Next
Great.
month.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
As we move to comments of citizens, first I want to invite 2 young men in our audience to come forward. We have 2 scouts with us this evening. If they would like to come to the microphone and introduce themselves and just say why they are here and what their goal is.
Hello, my name is Timothy Schrade. And my name is Carson Reeves. And we are here as AOL Scouts about to cross over to Boy Scouts. And we are here working on Building a Better World Requirement 4, which has to do with talking to elected officials in the government and asking them questions and basically just learning about that and attending a meeting. And yeah, that's basically what the requirement is.
Fantastic. And you have proof of this being on TV. If anybody asks you where you were, this will be back on TV, okay?
Okay.
All righty. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
As I told them in the audience, Scouts, the motto is always be prepared, and they were. As I move to comments of citizens, there are 2 opportunities this evening. The first, public presentation, public participation at board meetings. As I call your name, please come to the microphone, introduce, state your name and address for the record. You will have 3 minutes to make your presentation to the board. And the first would be David Forrest, please.
Ms. Haywood, members of the board. I'm here to talk about the new 6 years facilities master plan that was posted on the web today. I think one thing that's very interesting about it is the projections on the elementary schools here. I think one thing it shows easily is that the entire elementary school system is overcrowded above 90% throughout the whole plan here. In fiscal year 18, it's at 94%, 95% in 19, 98% in 20, 99% in 21, and 101% in 22. And that might be about when the new school comes online. And when that comes online and adds 500 things there, it'll be back down to 93%. All these numbers are above the 85, 90% ideal range that Dr. James presented when he was presenting all the instructional capacity stuff. One thing I like to say is this is a very strong evidence to go to the Board of Supervisors with and talk against any new development project, because it's easy to point out the elementary school, and how you read this table here is you look at the instructional capacity, take off 10%, a cheap tip on there, and you should line up with this over and under capacity stuff. So it's very easy to see which schools are overcrowded and which schools are not. That the whole system is up above the 90% level makes it impossible for the redistricting stuff to bring things down below that level, because you can't bring things below without bringing things up in the other spaces. The overcrowding produces substandard facilities. Yes, the trailers are parked on the two hard surface playgrounds there, and with a high load of students there's required to have two hard surface playgrounds for the 400, or for above 400 students there. And Yorktown Elementary is substandard facilities for that reason there. I also got an email from the county engineer, Mark Carter, who I asked him about the site size for all the lots there, and not any of the elementary schools meet the state standards on the lot size for the lots they have. But the school that's in the works isn't going to bring things, or it's going to bring things back down to this level of overcrowding that we have now by the time it comes online. You need to be asking for more. But the overcrowding has consequences. We have substandard facilities here at York, and the plan that you have for the next 6 years doesn't look like it covers those things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next is Kathleen Howe.
Mrs. Haywood, just so you know, I can't tell if William is here or not, but it looks to me like somebody wrote their name in the first block. We couldn't tell if their pencil was light. His name is William. Okay, just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to take somebody else's time or have it be an oversight. Thank you, and I hope you feel better, because I can tell you're a little hoarse.
Getting over bronchitis.
Uh-oh, I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And welcome to the board, Mr. Anderson. Good evening, my name is Kathleen Howe, and I reside at 121 Lance Way in Yorktown. I am here to discuss the implementation of an 8 a.m. or later school start time for all the students in York County. The National Society of Behavioral Medicine, also known as SBM, issued a new position statement recommending that middle and high schools start classes no earlier than 8:30 a.m. They are urging local, state, and national leaders to take action and help schools make this change. The SBM joined a long list of health groups, such as the Society of Pediatric Nurses, the National Association of School Nurses, the Academy of American Pediatrics, and the American Medical Association, favoring an 8:30 a.m. start time for these students. There are many other organizations that support this and have been mentioned in the past. Things we all know based on the information I and others have presented to the York County School Board since November 23rd of 2015. Teens are biologically wired to sleep late, but schools start early. These biologic changes happen during puberty and shift their sleep cycles later. God bless you, later than younger children or even older adults. The key point, they will outgrow this. Schools with later start times see improvements in concentration, mood, test scores, and attendance, to name a few. We also see a decrease in misbehavior, caffeine use, and teen car accidents. The Society of Behavioral Medicine's position statement is supported by the National Education Association, the National Parent-Teacher Association, Parents for Public Schools, the Sleep Research Society, and Start School Later. Based on the Wavy 10 poll, 58% of York County is in favor of an 8 a.m. or later school start time. Last spring, the Youth Commission did a survey of the students in York County, and 59% of the students said they too would like an 8 a.m. or later school start time. Per Stacy Simera, the communications director for School Start Later, child health is worth adult effort. Is the York County School Board willing to take the effort and find the cost of implementing this change in our county? Thank you for your time and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jennifer Butler.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me talk tonight. Jennifer Butler. I live at 101 Longwood Circle here in Yorktown. I'm also here tonight to speak for later school start times. I am grateful to be a York County resident. I've been here for 10 years. I was born and raised in South Louisiana, went to school there, and as a military family, I've moved around enough to know that the school and the opportunities our kids have are far beyond what other kids have, and I'm extremely grateful for that. I do tell my children that you should be very thankful for the extracurriculars, the wonderful band, athletics, because there's things that other kids just don't get. So although I'm grateful, I do want you, plead with you to think about later start times for the high schoolers. YCSD has always done what's best for our children. That's always been our #1 priority, and I believe this is also one of the best things to do. As science changes, as more information becomes available, kind of as we evolve and adapt, we learn things, and we now know because of the American Academy of Pediatrics and studies that have been done that this is ultimately what's best for the teenage brain and body. I have 3 children, 6th, 8th, and I have a daughter in 11th. She is a very busy girl, like most of our teenagers. AP classes, band. No matter how hard she tries, she inevitably spends many hours on homework, and I can try my best to get her in bed early, but she just has to get her work done. So no matter what we do, she's going to have to get up early every morning with less sleep than her body needs. I know it's not always easy. It always comes down ultimately to resources and to funding, but I do know that ultimately the schedules can work out. I know that buses can work out and come together if we all push enough for ultimately the best thing for the kids. It has been done in other districts. Many states have started with later start times now. There's also many parents out there that feel the same way I do. They just always seem to not have the time. But I know that there's many who wanted to be here and couldn't because of the holidays. I really feel like these days teenagers have it hard enough as it is. There's so many things that draw their attention, and I think what we can do, the best we can do, is give them the basics. And one of those basics is just helping them get a good night's sleep, so they're better prepared for their day and not sleeping in their first block classes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam Muir.
Sammy Ray, York Education Association President. I live at 302 Penrith Crossing, Yorktown, Virginia, 23692. Chairperson Haywood, other school board members, Dr. Shandor. Last week was American Education Week. The key to American education is our public school system. In keeping with that theme and the school division's strategic goals, the York Education Association would like to present the board members with buttons advocating strong public schools. Strong public schools give opportunity to all students. That is a statement that is at the foundation of York County School Division. So I'd like to award each one of you with a pen.
Thank you so much, Sam.
I would be remiss if I did not mention that Dr. Staples was a big influence on me. Many of you may or may not be aware that he couldn't publicly come out and talk about the strategic voting records of various constituency groups, but I tried to do what I could in a public way, and I at least got them to focus on issues related to education as I ran. So I never thought any of my losses were a failure because I at least drew attention to the issue of education. I thought a long time ago that he would be an excellent candidate to be on the state superintendent, and when he eventually became the state superintendent, I kind of knew that was the way it would go. Long time ago, I was associated with a guy by the name of S. John Davis out at Fairfax, and he became state superintendent after I'd been on the school board up there, so kind of had something about that. And I hate to steal any thunder from Dr. Shandor, but I hope that I will see all of you on Saturday at 2 p.m. at York High School as we step into the regional championship. The stars have perfectly aligned. All the other top seeds are gone. So if we don't take advantage of this opportunity, it may not come again.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Sam. As we move to our second public hearing, which is on the FY19 Superintendent Recommended Capital Improvement Plan, before I open the public hearing, I'm going to ask Dr. Shandor if he has any remarks.
Thank you, Ms. Haywood. I'm going to ask Mr. Bill Bowen if he'll come forward to the podium. Chief Finance Officer, he's going to share a few brief remarks related to the CIP. Mr. Bowen?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Shandor. This evening we'll have our public hearing for the fiscal year 2019 Capital Improvements Plan. There's 14 projects that are in the fiscal year 19 plan, and I'd like to just take a moment and highlight a few. We have a roof replacement project, or actually roof replacement projects at Coventry Elementary and York High. We have parking lot expansion at Dare and Seaford Elementary. We're replacing the windows at 2 of our schools, and we're also replacing the HVAC systems at 3 of our schools. The total amount of all the projects for 2019 is $9 million, and that's the amount that we will be requesting from our county. The school board will hold another work session on the CIP on December 4th, and will consider the CIP for approval on December 18th at its regular meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen.
Board members don't have questions. I am going to open the public hearing, and I have one person signed up, and that's David Forrest. If you will come and give your name and address for the record.
My name is David Forrest. I live at 104 Three Point Court in Yorktown, Virginia, 23692. Ms. Haywood, members of the board, about the CIP at the kind of the bottom line on the CIP has, I don't know, about $9 million a year. But if you take out the funding for the new school in there, that depresses the average over the next 10 years out to like $8.5 million a year. If you take that out as a 40-year depreciation stuff, that would support a infrastructure of about $342 million worth of infrastructure. You've got like 20, 21 schools, at about $25 million apiece, is about $500 million worth of infrastructure. If you want to keep up with depreciation and keep up with maintenance on the schools, you need to be asking for more money to fund the schools. In the presentations of the CIP, we've talked about several times when it's been presented, they've spoken about how the out years aren't so important as what's going on in this year. But the out years are very important for advocating for funds for the school. If this stuff is not in the plan, it doesn't give a tool for someone to say, like, we need this now. It's in the plan out there for 2024, but we need to pull that forward now. And if we can get a number on the plan for the things that need to happen, we can advocate to pull those things forward and have something to pay for. The way the CIP is presented now, everything balances out and matches the financial projection of Neil Morgan. But those trade-offs kind of happen where we can't see them happen, and we miss out on being able to get the things done, keep up with the maintenance that needs to happen. I think that's all I have for there.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much. Thank you. No one else has signed up for the public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to speak on behalf of the capital improvements plan. If not, I close the public hearing. I move now to matters by board members, and I'm going to start with Dr. George.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Haywood. Not much tonight. I want to mention I was able to spend some time at Tab Elementary last Friday before. It's always very eye-opening for me to get out to these schools. The energy that the teachers and the principals have to make the circles around the building numerous times a day and to attend to everything that's going on, stop what they're doing, fix a situation here, start back, stop again. It's just amazing to me, and my hat goes off to them every time. So I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I think we're always gonna do that every year now, I'm sure, maybe several times. Who knows? Principal for a day, twice a year. What do you think? But it was a very rewarding experience. Enjoyed it very much. Just happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and I always get a little bit mushy and tell you, just those that you love, just hug them a little tighter. And be thankful for all that you have, the many blessings you have, and take some time to think on that. And with that, have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Mr. Richardson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also did principal for a day. I was at Grafton High School, and what an experience. Just like Dr. George said, we ran around the school. We were here, there, and everywhere, and meeting with different teachers and students and that throughout the day. So our principal stayed busy, but it was a great experience, and enjoyed doing it. Then about the 13th of November, I attended and was invited to and attended the big turkey feast at the school board office, and wow, that was a nice luncheon, and good camaraderie there with all the people at school board. But that was nice. But Wednesday of last week, I also attended the swearing in of our new school board member at the school board office, and that was a privilege to be there when he got sworn in. I attended a meeting with the YEA. They were actually awarding some volunteer awards to our volunteers in the school system, which is a great thing they were doing, because without the volunteers, we couldn't do a lot of the stuff we do in the school system. Thank you to the YEA for that. Then right after that, I went down to one of the budget presentations at Tab Middle School, so we could get some input from citizens about the budget that's coming up. I think we had 4 sessions on that, and I was able to attend one of them. And then also our York High School team. Just last week, I was going to mention they won, and yes, they're playing next week. It is 2 p.m. right at York High School, and they'll be playing Hopewell, so support our Falcons. They're doing very well this year. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving, and spend some time with your loved ones. Thank you.
Mr. Anderson.
Well, I'd like to thank Dr. Shandor and his staff, Ms. Haywood, and Mr. Richardson for attending my swearing in and making it special. Sandy said it was just going to be me, her, and the clerk, and I walk in, there's a whole lobby full of people, so thank you for attending that. It really made it special. I was able to attend one of the public budget meetings this past week with Dr. Shandor and his people. We had some citizen input. It was a great meeting. Got some really good ideas for the budget from the citizens. So thank you for attending that. I love York, but I bleed Grafton red. So congratulations to the Grafton competition cheer team for their 4-peat state championship, and to the female volleyball team, state runner-up. Even though Loudoun County is the dominant team in the state for girls volleyball, we're only losing one player next year to graduation, so we'll have a veteran team. We'll be back ready to take on Loudoun. But thank you to all the citizens who were here tonight and spoke, and please have a happy and safe Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Mr. Medford.
Thank you. My life's been busy. Congratulations. Welcome aboard. I look forward to working with you. You're in it now. We do have fun. It's rewarding and glad that you stepped up and offered yourself to the community, and they selected you to bring your expertise and what you're going to share, your values and such to help children, and that's what we do. So welcome aboard. Thank you. We look forward to working with you, and we got a lot of work to do. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. It's that time of year as we start getting into the busy stuff. So with that's all I have.
Thank you. I was also participating in Principal 4-Day, and I was at Magruder Elementary, and I want to thank Mr. Mark Kirk and staff for just a wonderful day in visiting the classrooms. The one thing that I came away with, and I had an opportunity to do almost all classes, was the fifth graders and their focus on goals and what they want to accomplish. But also when you walk into a classroom, how teachers have it's a managing how you handle your class, but the students are engaged. They are having a good time. They are learning, whether in the large group or smaller groups. And I just found that across the board for all the classrooms, and that was wonderful to see. I told them I'm coming back because I truly had a good time. I want to say congratulations to Clara Winchesky from Bruton High School. She finished in second place in cross country this year. So again, congratulations. And we had the opportunity to participate in the Virginia School Boards Association conference held in Williamsburg last week. So it's always a great time to meet fellow board members locally and across the state. You get to network to find out what people are doing, how well they are doing. You get to share your successes. So that's has always been a wonderful opportunity. And if there's nothing else, we're going to move to financial matters. And Mr. Richardson, you have that?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair, thank you. Just going to cover a couple significant changes relating to the operating budget for revenues. State revenues are running about $198,000 higher in 2017 than October of 2016. This was due in a large part to the state's share of the VRS rate increase and salary increase for 2018. The state provided the school division with a 2% salary increase for our standards of quality positions. Also, federal revenues were about $647,000 less in October 2017 than they were the previous year. This was due to the timing when federal expenditures were billed and revenues were received from the previous year. So it's all pretty consistent in just the timing of everything. For expenditures, the instructional expenditures were about $817,000 higher in 2017, October. The increase is primarily the result of additional positions that were added for the 2018 budget, and the increase in salaries and benefits related to the average of 2% raise that we gave our employees. Technology expenditures were about $267,000 higher in October 2017, and this was again an increase primarily due to the timing of the vendor payments for that month. And significant changes relating to food service. The state revenue is about $36,000 less in 2017 of October due to the timing in which the state match for National School Lunch Program was received. The food service account had about $303,000 in encumbrances from the 2017 to 2018 budget, and these funds were actually carried over to purchase some equipment that needed to be replaced, and I've talked about that, I believe, last year in the financial matters. We talked about it. Most everything has been purchased. There's about $27,000 of that $303,000 still outstanding because everything hasn't been delivered yet. There was a tuition payment for $118,000 to New Horizons Regional Education Center for York County School Division students to participate in the regional programs. A payment of $226,000 to Sodexo for food service operations. A payment of $124,000 to Schick Communications for replacing the intercom and bell systems, and that was at Bethel Manor Elementary and Yorktown Elementary, where we just did all that work refurbishing. So Schick Communications did that work. There were payments totaling $829,000 for the month of October to Kingmore Supply to purchase 9 new buses. There have been a total now of 15 new buses purchased this year as replacements. So we just got delivery of those buses, so the payment was made for that. And that concludes financial report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Do you want to do a motion?
I make a motion we approve.
Thank you. Any comments or questions of Mr. Richardson? If not, Mrs. Ford?
A motion was made by Mr. Richardson and seconded by Dr. George to approve financial matters. Dr. George?
Yes.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes, thank you. As we move to the consent calendar, we have 4 items under consent. Consideration of approval of personnel actions, consideration of approval of donations totaling $6,340.66, consideration of approval of minutes from a work session on October the 9th, 2017, and a special meeting on October the 20th, 2017, and consideration of approval of a school van driver. Do we need to have any items removed from consent? If not, may I have a motion to accept the consent calendar as presented?
Move approval.
Second, please.
Second.
And Mrs. Ford?
A motion was made by Mr. Medford and seconded by Mr. Anderson to approve the consent calendar. Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
And Mrs. Haywood?
Yes, thank you. And for the first time, we don't have any action items. It's the first. We move now down to policy. We have 1 item under discussion, and I know we've received quite a bit of information to review a lot of this, so it wouldn't, because it's such a lengthy area. So Dr. Shandor,
Yes, thank you, Ms. Haywood. I'm going to ask Dr. Caraful, please come to the podium to talk about Section G, Personnel of the York County School Board Policy Manual. Dr. Carroll?
Thank you, Dr. Shandor. Mrs. Haywood, members of the board. After review and revision by the superintendent, the chief officers, and the assistant county attorney, Section G, Personnel, is ready for your review. Several of the proposed revisions to the policy section are a result of alignment with the Virginia School Boards Association's policy manual changes to the Code of Virginia and to the Virginia Administrative Code. Staff is making the following recommendations. 1 new policy, GAH, titled School Employee Conflict of Interest. This policy is brought entirely from the Virginia School Board Association's model policy and addresses application of the State and Local Government Conflict of Interest Act to school board employees. Staff also, Staff also recommends changes to 21 existing policies, many editorial. I would bring your attention to 2 policies for substantial change. GAE/JAH, which is titled Child Abuse and Neglect Reporting, which now includes a release of liability for reporters of abuse and neglect. And GBEC, Smoking and Substance Abuse, that now creates the ability for the division to require alcohol and drug testing of employees where there is reasonable suspicion of being under the influence. There are 27 additional policies that are restatements of previous wording, and 1 policy, GCBD, was revised just last May, so it is not included for further consideration at this time. That concludes my remarks. Are there any questions?
We will see this again for second reading and, for first reading and then for second reading and action. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carroll.
We have one item for first reading, and that's instruction of the school board policy manual, section 1. Dr. Shander, anything else you want to add to that?
No, Ms. Haywood, there are no changes since last month.
Any questions of staff? Okay. We have two action items on policy. One is the second reading of the quadrennial review of Chapter 3, School Division Administration, Section C, General School Administration of the School Board Policy Manual. If I move first, may I have a motion to accept this one?
Motion to accept.
A second, please.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Any concerns about this? If not, Mrs. Ford?
A motion was made by Dr. George and seconded by Mr. Richardson to approve the second reading of the policy. Dr. George?
Yes.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes. Thank you. The second is the second reading of revisions to DGCY, fundraising activities conducted by schools policy of the School Board Policy Manual. May I have a motion to accept?
Move approval.
Second, please.
Second.
Any comments, questions?
Just one comment, that was, this was something that was actually brought up during our budget meetings with citizens, and
Right.
we had already been addressing it, so I just
Okay.
wanted to point that out.
Fantastic, thank you. Anything else? Mrs. Ford?
A motion was made by Mr. Medford and seconded by Mr. Anderson to approve the second reading of the policy. Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
And Mrs. Haywood?
Yes, thank you. Dr. Shander, it's your turn.
Thank you. So for this evening's report of the superintendent, I've got a number of items that board members have touched on, so I'll try and be brief. First, I want to also welcome Mr. Anderson to the team. He took his oath, as you know, last Wednesday, and we're proud to have him serve on our school board and with our administrative team. We've met with him, members of our cabinet met with him, obviously prior to the election. We've had many conversations. We met today, so I'm looking forward to taking Mr. Anderson into the schools and getting to meet some of our dedicated, or all of our dedicated teachers and staff in the building. So we welcome you, Mr. Anderson. I also want to say thank you to Dr. Vivian, who served as interim board member for us for a brief period over the last several months. We do have a plaque that we're going to present to him at an upcoming meeting. Next, we're continuing our budget discussions. We've held 4 community budget sessions at each of the 4 middle schools. We're also going to be meeting with county personnel for a joint work session with the supervisors and Mr. Morgan on December 5th pertaining to next year's operating budget. We've also, during American Education Week, you've heard a few of our board members talk about the Principal for a Day program. We're really proud of that. We had every school participate this year, so we had 19 principals for a day. We had a wonderful reception at the Freight Shed with a number of business leaders, elected officials, and other leaders throughout the county. Last Wednesday and Thursday, I attended the VSBA conference with some of our board members. Again, it's a great opportunity for us to network. It's a great opportunity for all the superintendents who were there to get into different sessions. I actually went to a wonderful session on building business relationships with our community, and that's something that we're working on here in the county. Dr. Guy, Dr. Vladu, and Ms. Hespy, our CTE coordinator, were really proud of the meeting that we had with E3, which is a group that Jim Noel for the county economic development gentleman put on last week for us. And we had 20 to 25 business people there. We conducted a scan, which is an opportunity for us to collect a lot of information from them about feedback for moving together with the relationship. So we're really proud of that work. So I'll also add, I know that Grafton High School won the competitive cheer team. But I'd be remiss living in the TAB zone if I didn't represent and recognize TAB High School. They also came home with a state title, so for competitive cheer. So it was wonderful that we had two of our high schools come back with that. Also, I'm proud of the volleyball team with the state runner-ups. I didn't realize they're only losing 1 player, so I trust that they'll be back for another visit there. I'll be at York High School at 2 o'clock, Sam. I'll be there cheering on the Falcons. Hopefully we can come away with the win there. And in closing, It's Thanksgiving break. I hope everyone can reconnect with their families, enjoy the time away, and we'll see you Monday. Thank you.
Exactly, exactly. One last thing before we conclude our meeting. And the board, we've discussed this, but we're going to ask Dr. Shander if he will, at our December 4th work session, have staff just give us an update, a cursory review of what we have accomplished so far with start times.
Okay.
Just go back to how we got started, how long ago it was, and just where we've come in this time period. So we will look forward to that on December 4th.
Will do. Thank you.
Anything else? We are adjourned. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.